What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. You guys know what this video is about. If you clicked on it or if you're watching it, I wanted to talk a little bit about BGS because it's something that's kind of been reoccurring over the last, a couple months. It's been asked a couple of times in the live streams. It's been asked a couple of times in the comments. And, why don't I talk about BGS? I'm always talking about PSA. I'm always talking about HGA, SGC. Even mentioned a little bit about CSG. You guys hear me talking about TGT. And there's a handful of other ones. But seemingly no mention about Beckett, which in some people's eyes, Beckett is kind of the number 2 player behind the idea that PSA is number 1, Beckett is number 2, and SGC is number 3. That's kind of general consensus, I would say, in the hobby. But you guys don't hear me talk much about about Beckett, which is really odd because, again, they're kind of thought of as number 2 in the industry, which, there's some merit to that. I can definitely see where people would make that distinction. You guys know where I stand on that. They're just not my favorite in terms of grading companies. Now, the easy and quick answer as to why I don't talk about Beckett that much is simply because I don't use them. I've never used them. I've never submitted with them. I'm not exposed to them as a company in terms of customer service. I really don't know anything about them. And all of that is really just because of one reason and one reason only. I'll get into that in a second. But the other thing, too, is that I did purchase, I do have a couple of their slabs. I have, I think, a Kevin Porter Jr. rookie card in a BGS slab. I have a couple of Olajuwon cards in my PC that are Beckett 9.5s. One of the things I like about Beckett is their subgrades, which is one of the reasons why I like HGA and TGT is for their subgrades. And it's the one thing that I wish SGC had, which is subgrades. But I think that sets them apart. Also, they have the BGS black label, which is like an absolutely flawless card. I think that's a really cool thing that they have. But really it boils down to accessibility for me. And that's a funny thing for me to say in terms of accessibility is the reason why I haven't subbed with them, because they're literally a couple of hours up Interstate 45. I live in Houston. BGS is headquartered in Dallas. And I don't know if with COVID if they're accepting submissions in the at Beckett. I know they used to do that. They used to accept submissions daily, and then they went to just a Tuesday, Thursday thing. And I really don't know what the current situation is. Maybe you guys tell me in the comments. But you would think that because of that, I would be more inclined to go to Beckett. But regardless, it's still a pretty decent hike. It's about 3 hours from me to get to Dallas from Houston, or from where I'm at in Houston. Houston's a massive city. You can drive an hour and a half. It takes you about an hour and a half to drive across, the metropolitan Houston area. So anyway, so I say accessibility is probably the number one reason why I haven't subbed with Beckett. And really, I do have a couple of cards because I do like the way that they do like patch autograph cards. I think they're like a thick stock card looks pretty good in their slabs because they have a much thicker, kind of shorter, stockier, chunkier slab. So you guys have heard me talk about my Deshaun Watson rookie RPA that I have as being one that I would potentially send to BGS. But at any rate, they're right down the street, so you figured I would send it to them. But my biggest gripe about them is really their screen. Just kind of the way that they have their online service. It's not very intuitive, right? So there's no online order form. And whenever you click here to try to submit, it tells you to submit the form. Then you can click here to do an online grading form, but really you still have to download this form and then like fill it out like this is some kind of like Macy's catalog or something from the 1980s. You got to calculate your own return postage, and it's just like, this is very clunky, like it's super clunky. I have to print this out. I got to write it in, and I don't know. It's just ridiculously clunky to me. I never understood, the reason why we have to do this. So that was one immediate drawback, because I was gonna submit with them, like way back when I first started, doing videos about grading and stuff like that, just to try them out and see what the response is and how they do on the customer service tip. But I was gonna submit with them, but again, I ran into this thing and I was like, are they joking? Like, do I really have to print this thing out and write it in with a freaking pencil or pen or whatever, and manually do this like we're in the 80s? And yeah, that's exactly how they do. That's how you submit with them. So that turned me off immediately, and then I just never looked into them again. And then recently, I mentioned that in one of the live streams, and somebody said, "Oh, well, no, they have an online submission thing that you can do now. You can submit online." So I gave them another shot, and I went and checked right now, and this is what I came up with. Yeah, you can enter some submission details. Search card for submission. I don't know how this works. Search card for submission. I don't know what that is, but and then payment details. So let's just say that I did this. I put in $100 or $1,000, whatever. Next day, whatever. Premium. No shipping account number. So what's the next thing to do here? I don't understand what's. Anyway, the thing is that their website is not intuitive, like, at all, in terms of being able to. It's just not, their website is not intuitive whatsoever, and to those of y'all that know what I mean when I say it's not intuitive, it's not clearly defined, like what to do, where to click. I mean, it's a very clunky website. But the other thing too was when I started doing the PSA updates, one of the things that I wanted to do was include Beckett, because again, at the time, Beckett was considered the number 2. But if I wanted to go, for example, in their pop report and look at basketball, because that's what I do with PSA, right? When I do the PSA submission, I just go to their pop report. This is how I pull down my data. Big secret here. I just basically open each one of these up, and each one of these sections up, and just pull the number. That's pretty much what I do. So they got Hot Wheels? Really? So I would imagine that I should be able to just click basketball. And then what? See, nothing comes up. So I understand, I mean, there's a set name, there's a player name. So what if I do 2021, 2021 NBA hoops? Yeah, let's do this. Zion Williamson. Anyway, it's clunky. I can't pull anything. It's not the best. So that is why I don't mess with Beckett. They're closed down right now, just like PSA is for any other service other than their premium, like, hurry up service. That's like a couple $100 from what I understand. I think their grading is really good. It's pretty spot on. Again, I've mentioned this before. it's kind of hard to hide behind grading when you have subgrades. Subgrades makes a lot of the ambiguity of grading kind of disappear. So I like that about them very much. I just noticed something. I'm on Beckett's website, but there's like PSA slabs, which is weird. I know Beckett like initially was a price guide, right? So anyway, I just noticed that, and I thought that was really weird. Really weird. Anyway, so yeah, I just don't think. Sorry. Yeah, I just don't think that they're a very modern company, and they're not very up to date on what's going on. I don't know. I won't send a card there. I just won't. I rather keep my RPAs in a one touch, and and display them in a collect 3D prints case. That's just my opinion. I wanted to, I guess, put this video out there and just kind of explain that piece of it, because it is, like I said, as the channel's growing and things like that, I've been getting that question a little more frequently. So I thought I'd kind of just offer some insight as to why, because it's a fair question, right? I mean, I tend to be pretty critical of all the grading companies, and yet I seem to say seemingly nothing about BGS, and that's just mainly why. So I'm not gonna shit on somebody if I don't know what's going on with them at all. That'd be kind of crappy. But that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all. We got a lot of stuff coming up, man. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in this hobby. So we got a lot of videos coming out. I'm about to do another video right now. I just got finished watching that Wada Games clusterfuck that's going on, and I got some not insights, but I have some thoughts on that, and as it pertains to the card market as well, that I want to talk about and put on video. Also, HGA just recently did a deal with COMC, so COMC's listing HGA slabs now, which is great. So I have a little bit to talk about there. Anyway, just keep up, stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Got a lot of stuff coming out. We got a couple of new ideas, a couple of new video series that I want to do. With some new stuff that I got. If you watched the last video, you know what I'm talking about. I want to get back into breaks. Now, from an analytical standpoint, I can see on my analytics for this channel that videos in which I do breaks don't really do that well. I mean, they're almost like they get maybe about a third of the views, but I'm okay with that, because honestly, that is what started this channel. If you go back into some of my older videos, like some of the first videos that I ever did, that was primarily my content on this channel, and I want to get back to that. I enjoy that. That is the most fun that I have, is ripping packs and boxes and stuff and finding cool shit and talking about it. So I want to get back into that. Prices are starting to simmer down just a little bit, but it's still pretty expensive. So that being said, if you want to support the channel, I have a link down below for Collect 3D Prints, an affiliate link. I got a pretty sweet deal set up with my brother. He hooked me up with a nice affiliate setup. And go buy some Collect 3D Print cases. Also, I got an affiliate for cardhedger.com, which I'm going to do another video on pretty soon, talking about SGC prices. You can sign up there. A couple of you have done that already. I appreciate it. Working on t-shirt designs. I don't want to do merch for the sake of doing merch. Like, I don't want to just put out shirts with like just this logo on it and then just like slap them out there. I have some ideas. I have a background. I used to have a t-shirt company when I was younger, and trying to be a hip hop mogul. So I do have some experience with that. So I will be putting out something sooner than later. We're almost approaching 5,000 subscribers. I might do something special for that 5,000 subscriber hit. A bunch of stuff going on. I'm rambling. I love you guys. Thank y'all for the support. Catch you on the next one. Peace.